Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode with Jewel and Jason discussing the business of logistics. And today we've got a few questions we're going to get into, help help some of our viewers out there learn a little bit about how they can better manage their business, find loads, addressing the load, carrier packages, and things like that. So, without further ado, Jason, welcome back to the show. Always good to have you. And thank you again for taking your time out to share this time with me and my audience. I appreciate you.
Hello, Jewel, and hello, audience, and thank y'all for spending just a tad bit of your time with us.
All
And
right.
we're gonna make this thing very interesting.
Yes, we are. So, Jason, you have been conversing with some truck drivers out here in the real world, and some of them have come up to you with some questions. So,
Yeah,
what's
yes.
the first question we want to talk about today?
Okay, so we're gonna be kind of not all over the place, but the first one I want to address to you was the carrier package. How
Okay.
important it is, and basically they see that before they see the actual structure of your business. So tell me one of the things that you as a broker, if somebody was submitting a care package to you, FBM, and tell me what would you would be looking for.
Well, first, let me back up a little bit on the carrier package and just tell people what exactly a carrier package is for. What is it?
Hey,
So a carrier package is also known as a setup package for the carrier. It's a collection of the documents and agreements that the broker gathers for or from the carrier to start working with them. Things like insurance, things like how many trucks they got, licenses, stuff like that. And that's really just to help me as a broker understand what can this carrier do for me. Okay. And with that information, I add that to my roster of available carriers. So when I'm reaching out to shippers, I can say, well, I've got X amount of carriers available to move shipments from here to here. Okay. Now, when I'm looking at a carrier package, some of the things I'm looking at first off and foremost, how many vehicles do you have? How many assets? I like to call it, because that's your capacity. That tells me where I need to go and what type of shipper I need to look for to fill your trailer. So if you've only got one trailer, my thought it will be, okay, I'm going to use this particular driver and his truck for, say, maybe short runs. It'd be a strategic move. Maybe picking up from the ports, maybe draying from the rail yards. And the reason for that is keeping them close to home for the what if situation. That's how I'm looking at it. Now, if that carrier says to me, hey, I have only one truck, but I want to go long distance. Now we're talking about, okay, what's your, as in addition to your carrier package, I didn't see anything like a maintenance plan, okay, or how do you handle your breakdowns? These are things that are important because you have to manage risk. There's always going to be a tire blowout. Trucks get hot, belts expand, especially in the summertime, like we're dealing with right now, extreme heat situations. These things, as a transportation owner with assets, you got to think about. You're running that truck at least 600 miles a day in an 11-hour shift at minimum, okay, plus or minus. You can run up to 600 miles a day. So with running that 600 miles a day, that's a lot of wear and tear on a vehicle. That you're a lot of rolling across the roads, different terrains, different weather conditions. You're going from hot, sometimes hot to cold, and cold to hot. So, as my advice to you as a transportation company and you're putting together your packet, be prepared to tell the broker or dispatcher or the shipper or whoever you're working with what you can do, the capacity. You've got a box truck, a box trailer, 53 foot. You've only got one tractor, you only got one trailer. So, what can you do for them? What lanes do you want to run? How far? Because if you mess up, you got to eat the cost, and that could cost business. So, that's my scenario on the carrier packages. What else you got?
Okay. So my next question was, and inquiring minds want to know, um, how many brokers or load boards can you be assigned to, or be willing to pay for, or just be under that umbrella to be able to not just. And a lot of these drivers, they want to stay busy. You
Mhm.
know, still we got the electronic logs and all that, but they kind of want to be, they want to stay booked. A lot of these drivers don't really care about coming home if they don't have a home to come to, if they
Exactly.
can't. So a lot of them want to stay busy and they just want to get all the work, but some load boards a little bit more attractive than others.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
can you give me some insight on that? Because like I said, a lot of people gonna see this and you're gonna have the answers for them.
Okay. So first, the load board, for those of you who might be entering the industry and may not understand what the purpose of a load board is. A load board is a way for shippers to post up loads that may not be under contract. These may be spot rates, what they like to call them. So the spot rate market right now is not paying a lot. It fluctuates. Excuse me. Contract rates are those rates that are guaranteed no matter what. They're set, and that's how most of the freight moves in this industry because it helps the shipper control cost. You got to remember cost is number one. Now, if you're going to put yourself on a bunch of low boards, have a strategy, have a plan for that. And what I mean by that is understand you might have a low board that's best for you if you get stuck in New York. You know what? That's the low board I'm going to because they always have those great New York coming out of New York going down to where I want to go. You might have a low board that if you are out in California is better to get you back to the East Coast, or vice versa, a low board that's better for the East Coast to get you to the West Coast. So if it were me, I would be looking at my low boards as a region. That's how I would position them. And I would look at them and say, okay, who has the best routing and lows for me if I'm coming from this place going to this place? That's the one first strategy. Now, I want to caution you shouldn't have too many, because if you get in a situation to where you got two different brokers calling you and you're like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, you're putting yourself in a situation where you are going to risk losing one of those customers, guaranteed. One of
Right,
those brokers or dispatchers or shippers, whoever it is you turn down, that's the one you will not be able to go to in the future. So if
right.
you are going to put yourself on multiple load boards and get out here and do all this finagling, have a plan, have a strategy. And if you only have one truck, I wouldn't recommend it because of that situation, because you wind up almost burning bridges. Now, we talked about this in the previous, I think last week, where we talked about building trust with your shipper and building that relationship, and how some shippers can turn on a dime and be like, nope, last time they dropped us or last time they did us dirty, we're not using them anymore. So,
Right.
you pull up to somebody thinking, oh, yeah, I got the business back. And then they remember who you were and they shut it down like that.
Yeah.
And then you're out of money. You wasted your time. All these things can happen when you burn those bridges. So my suggestion is, if you're going to do load boards, and be strategic about it. Be strategic about it. Learn the brokers also that are on those load boards, because that way you'll know, oh, this is so and so's load. I always work with them on this load board and stick with that versus this load board, that might be out in California. So have a plan, have a strategy, be methodical about it, and work the plan. Work the plan.
Okay, so I had a question that I forgot to actually write down.
That's okay.
But since we
We
we do what
freestyling.
we do what we do. So the question was, can you be a driver and a dispatcher at the same time?
Um,
I mean,
what it sounds like someone may be trying to do is manage their own loads, which is no different than you just going to the load board.
Right, because the thing was for me, it was touchy because it was almost like it sounded illegal because they was like it's almost like you double brokering or something. I mean, I
No,
didn't.
well,
He's like, well, if I can get a load, but I want to give it to somebody else.
no, you can't do that.
Exactly. So I was like, what's the question? So I don't know how they like, as you like to say, finagle me. You
Yeah.
know,
So
question was, can I
let's
be a driver and I could be telling my other driver to pick this load up, and then he gets to a customer, and the customer's not answering the phone or they're not closed. So I got to make a call and see if the customer is available 24 hours. Hey, my driver's there, and you're and nobody's he's waiting. You know, how long is it going to be before my driver gets loaded? And then actually, you got a driver that's calling for another driver because he's the dispatch. So I didn't know how that question, these questions.
so
I mean, I was like, are
here's
you?
yeah, so here's my perspective on that. So what I'm hearing is you might have a owner operator, he's got two trucks or she's got two trucks. Okay. And because they own the business, of course they're going to take on the responsibilities of the business first and foremost, meaning any administrative work, any booking of loads, any of that stuff they're going to handle.
Right.
And if they're short a driver, they might have hoped to have two drivers and they sit in the office, but yet they have to be the operator of the vehicle and do the administrative work and manage other loads with their driver. If they're doing it for their company, there's no problem with that. They're entitled to it. They can do it. But however, if they're trying to do it and extend that out, in other words, let's say you and I we work together. We're working in the same company, but then, so I'm saying, hey, Jason, I need you to go pick up this, blah, 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 blah. You're like, okay, I'm over there. I'm doing it. Right. However, if you were with another company, you JT Trucking, and I'm with JW Trucking, I can't give you that load because yes, that is illegal. I'm basically acting as a broker now with a load that I agreed to pick up, and I'm passing it over to a whole different entity. Okay.
Right.
So no, that piece, no. But if you, I believe that the regulations state if it's within your own company and it's your truck, your
Right.
driver, yeah, you're just basically finding business for all of your vehicles. Okay. Which that's fine. But no,
Right.
don't try to get out here and be a broker. And a new rule came out. I want to touch on this too. This came out in 2022, 23. The FMCSA came out with a new ruling to clarify what is a dispatcher versus a broker. And they were very stringent on, yes. I've gone over this with a few students, matter of fact, that I had in my CDO class. And because they had dispatcher businesses and they were unaware of the fact that they were out here dispatching for multiple trucking companies, which is illegal now.
Wow.
It is illegal now. Yes, you have to
no, repeat that. I didn't.
It is illegal for a dispatcher to try to dispatch for two separate companies. So in other words, JT and JW are two separate trucking companies, and we got XYZ dispatcher over here, and they're trying to get us both loads. They cannot do it. They need to be a broker. They have to be a broker, bonded, insured, all that stuff. So
no
yes.
way. We giving away free game now. We giving away free game. Don't think they know about that, Joe.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna put the link. I that was one of the things when
put that link.
I'm gonna put the link in the description. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the description of this video. So for those of you who are not aware of the ruling, get aware. And honestly, I have seen some dispatchers fall back. I've seen a lot of dispatchers fall back because dispatchers were getting away with making their money on having multiple trucking companies underneath them.
I don't want nobody to get mad at me, but I got some of my folks in Latonia, Georgia. Y'all don't know about this. This hey.
And ignorance of the law does not
Yeah,
give you a pass.
yeah,
Okay. So it is your responsibility as a business owner.
Forgive me. Don't hey, you know where my heart at, you know my intent. But
yeah.
but got all love, but
I ain't got nothing but love for you, baby.
Hey.
So what other topics you want to talk about?
You got me all. I want to run to the mailbox, but no. Then I had another question. We went over the health thing, right? We went over the health.
No, we haven't, not yet. We have not gone over the health. So, I know you talked to me about it.
Yeah. So another question. I want to set this up pretty good, and I don't want to offend nobody, and everybody ain't benching 315, and everybody ain't running a 40 and a 40. Well, a 4 and a 40. But a lot of these drivers are not in shape. And I ain't going to say in shape. They're just looking healthy. They're looking like a liability.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of owner operators, a lot of them are slouches. And I'm not saying that in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
Other times when you come to a facility or a business, it doesn't, the picture doesn't look presentable.
Yes.
They saying a lot of these drivers are owner operators.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them have cleaned out their 401ks, their life savings, and you got to look in the mirror, man, and you gotta be presentable. You can't be riding over the road eating Twinkies and donuts and thinking, you eating these high calorie, high cholesterol stuff, trying to step weight to get to your destination.
Yeah, yeah.
Just can't, and I mean, the Red Bulls, your body can get accustomed to a lot of Red Bulls. Take it from me, I know.
Mm-hmm.
You can get accustomed. The body is a unique thing because it's made from God. Because we can. It's almost like a chameleon. You can get used to anything.
Mm-hmm.
Your body can get used to the consumption of whatever you're consuming.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to be aware of what you're doing. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna let you tap into a little bit because you as well was a driver, and that's
yes, that's right. When I started driving, I'm gonna tell you, real deal. So when I started driving, obviously I had a lot of salt in my diet, which I never even realized. So that salt started to show up in my body and through swellings and things like that. And so I had to really look at everything I ate on that truck to stop my body from retaining water because of the salt intake. That means the chips were gone, the salty peanuts are gone, the drinks with soda is salt, sodium. That's how soda is made. It is made with salt. So when you're drinking soda, you are drinking sugary salt. That's what you're drinking, sodium. Soda, that's where it comes from, believe it or not. So and then even some of these energy drinks, look at the salt content. 5-hour energy drinks, the Red Bulls, the Monsters, all those things have some form of salt in them, especially if it's got a fizzle. And so even your Gatorades and so forth. So water is your best bet. You need to flush your system. And all of y'all are probably thinking, oh, I drink a lot of water. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom a lot. Your body will adapt. It will adjust. You will start to get on a regimen when your body's intaking that water. It'll start to regulate itself so that you won't have to be stopping all the time to go to the bathroom. What's happening at first, when you start to intake a lot of water, your body's flushing. It's like, oh, yes, give it to me, give it to me. So it's flushing out your liver and your kidneys and all that kind of stuff, but it will regulate yourself, and you won't have to do all those stops. But, one of the things that the trucking industry is known for is obesity, diabetes, hypertension, sleep disorders. Those are the top of the line for health issues with drivers, and it comes from the diet. Okay. So what I did is, first off, removing those types of things, and also exercise. Now, you get 11 hours of drive time, 10 hours of rest is where you're supposed to be. Now, most of you are going to be at a truck stop. So you're asking yourself, well, when do I have time to exercise? Because, I stop at a truck stop, who wants to walk around the nasty parking lots, and who wants to do all that stuff? When you're at your shipper and waiting, you can go out in the parking lot and do an exercise. I believe there was a guy that used to pick up at your spot, and he would do a little exercise routine in front of his truck, while he was waiting to get loaded. Okay. So during loading and unloading times, get out your truck, walk around the shipper a little bit, do some, arm movements and get that blood circulating, some leg pickups. You can do a routine like high intensity training for 15, 20, 30 minutes, that will get your blood pumping. Now, if you are overweight, of course, you're going to have to be cautious. Don't go out here trying to do all this extra stuff. You're going to have to lose that weight. But one of the things that is first and foremost is food. Now, being on the road, you don't have a lot of options. You got your Subways, your Wendy's, your McDonald's, Hardee's, and all of that contains salt. All that is processed food. So you're going to have to make better food choices. And what that looks like is, instead of you getting the pizza at the little pizza place, you might want to get the fruit and the salad. And don't throw all the dressing on there. Okay, get some fruit. I know Love's is good for having fruit. Pilot is good for having fruit. Fruit has sugar in it, but it takes longer for your body to digest and break it down, thus satisfying you a little bit longer. Okay.
It does. It does.
And if you're doing, now there's routines on YouTube. You can YouTube things like fasting, what they call, some people do like an 8-hour fast or 16-hour fast. And all they do is drink liquids and so forth during certain amounts of times of the day. And then they eat that one meal, and then they fast some more. They're training their bodies to live off of less carbonated foods. And so it gives the digestive system a break and starts to bring that body down. A lot of truckers eat because they're bored. It's you're sitting, you're driving, you're bored. So you grab something and stuff it in your mouth, grab something, stuff in your mouth. That is a habit that you have formed that you're going to have to break. That's really what it boils down to: taking responsibility for your health, your body, and saying, do I want to be, when I get done driving and I'm coming off the road, do I want to be like this size? Do I want to be this uncomfortable? You're going to have back problems. You're going to have leg problems. You're going to have muscular problems. And definitely you're going to have to, figure out a regimen to correct that. I personally go to the chiropractor all the time. I go to the chiropractor once a week and get adjusted because of the bumping and all the stuff that's happened while I was on the road. But it helps my skeletal frame stay locked in. And then I go for walks on the weekends. Okay. So when you're on your time off, find a place you can do a walk. Apple Watches are great right now. If you can afford one, get an Apple Watch to monitor how many steps you do. Traveling bands. There's, exercise bands. I took mine to the park with me the other day. Got out. When I got done with my walk, I did ab work, put it on a tree and just pull like this, and when I used to do in the truck, I used to use my bands in my truck. I would just break out my bands. I could do squats inside the truck. I could do arm curls. I could do shoulder raises and stuff. That's strength training. So you can do that inside the truck, and that could be a nightly routine, all in your own space. And then when you get out, do your walking, to do that cardio. So my suggestion is definitely, you got YouTube now. You've got that can give you recommendations on exercise regimens. You've got different nutrition regimens you can do, that you can buy those containers, go to Walmart. If you want to carry like a little cooler, yeah, you might have to buy the ice, or sometimes you can buy those little salads, little pre-made salads now. I love those things. You throw it in there, shake up everything, all the mixings and all that stuff. That's a full meal. That's a full meal. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you can buy a little bullet mixer and make shakes in the morning. Okay. Get your protein, get your juices and stuff, cut up your bananas and some fruits. Boom. That's a nice little protein shake for you. I mean, there are many options that you can do, but the driver, you listening, you've got to take responsibility for your health.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because it's not going to serve you. Your body's not going to serve you well if you're out here overweight trying to drive, because it's going to make you sleepy. And you don't want to be drowsy behind the wheel, because then you're causing accidents. Okay. And then you're relying on energy drinks, raising your blood pressure. That doesn't help. So there's all these different things that you got to look at and balance and work out. So hopefully, I know it was a lot, but hopefully that answers some questions and gives you guys some ideas on how you can manage your health better.
Right. And also, you don't want to take away one of the main sources of you trying to provide for your family. A lot of these
Exactly.
people over the road driving, whether it be you driving for a company or owner operator, this is your last resort of actually being able to get income. And you don't want to ride over the road and take away this only opportunity other than getting a lawn service for driving a truck. So you want to take all precautions of being able to provide for your family and being legit. We have a lot of felons that's driving over the road as owner operators.
Yeah.
And you don't want to take away your opportunity to actually make a legit living, falling asleep behind the wheel, being a liability on the road.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
you want
Absolutely.
to make sure that you you take full advantage of this lane that you're in. So
Absolutely.
if that means eating healthy, staying healthy, and being mindful of that, your health is wealth. Your body is your temple. Your truck is you're gonna do what you do. But
Yes.
if you want to earn a legit living and be an asset to yourself and to your company and to your family, you want to have a healthy regimen and be mindful, just like being all aware on the road, because
Yes.
you're driving a big rig, you've got freight, and you just got to be you got to take accountability, basically.
Exactly. Yes. The accountability is key. Accountability is key. Um, Now, switching topics. I know earlier you had talked about, we had kind of raised the question about what is the role of a broker or something like that. You were asking me.
Yeah, and I want to give you your flowers. A lot of people, you know, people look at what we're doing. They don't necessarily like it. When I say like it, I mean click the like. And I
Yeah.
want to go ahead and do the plug. If you're new to the channel, to Jewel Williams, please like, share, and subscribe to Jewel Williams YouTube channel, and as
Thank
well
you.
as my vision as well. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel as well. But I said all that to say this, is that Jewel, what you're doing, um, it's a necessity. Basically, you get information free game, and a lot of people we in a different space where people, it's like microwave ovens or air fryers. People want instant gratification. They want entitlement. They want the answers now, and they don't want to do the research. Okay. So that being said, you being a broker, you have to just tell them what the real business is, and just be out front with them. And we can't get them all to them at one time, but just tell
Yeah,
them
yeah. So the role of a freight broker is basically intermediary between the shipper and the truck driver. Some shippers like working with brokers. Now, your bigger brokers like C.H. Robinson is one of the biggest brokers out there.
right.
Amazon even has a brokerage arm. Walmart has a.
I don't want to cut you off, but I was watching Cam Newton podcast, and Cam Newton, he's into logistics.
Okay.
He has 10 trucks, and he's on the broker board with C.H. Robinson.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not familiar with Cam Newton.
Cam Newton is he's definitely in logistics. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people thinking they're in business with people they don't know of. You got celebrities, man, invest in this lane. I mean, people.
Yes.
And you know what? They're getting their cousins and their homeboys opportunity to drive and to earn honest livings. You can't be putting the luggage in the man's car. It's not enough money, enough pocket that this man can give money away. He's making opportunities in the logistic lane for transportation for people of color.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Be my
Exactly, because there's just a huge opportunity. Now, with that being said, an asset-based broker is becoming more valuable than a non-asset-based broker, especially if you're what is labeled as a small, medium enterprise. Okay, meaning
you might break that.
So C.H. Robinson, I know, right? So C.H. Robinson is a non-asset based broker for the most part, but they're big enough to stand their ground. Now, they've probably started to acquire or develop partnerships so that they can establish trust and certainty and be able to evaluate capacity and do capacity projections. Okay, they need to have those answers for their shippers in order to provide them with quality service. That would be their competitive advantage. All right. Now, myself being a small, medium-sized enterprise, an SME, I don't have any assets. It would be advantageous for me to get assets. In other words, to either acquire a company or a truck so that I can now come to the table with assets as opposed to saying I'm borrowing somebody else's time and assets, because you have that conflict. Like I said before, you want 5 different load boards. I call you with a load for, say, 2,000. Somebody else call you with a load for 3,000. You going to 3,000. Now I'm floating around, okay, trying to find somebody to cover for me. But if I have my own asset, all I got to do is call my asset and say, go pick up this load, because you work for me. You're my asset. You're my driver. You work under my company. So the role of a broker is basically that intermediary between the shipper and the driver. Okay. And they provide that service of booking the freight, managing its movement and confirmation of delivery and all those pieces that go a part of the supply chain. All right. So a truck driver that is teaming up with a broker is basically partnering with a broker to help that broker be their sales rep. So sales is the doorway to money. If you don't have sales, you don't have money. That's it. Okay. So your broker is acting as your sales rep, technically. And what they're doing is they're going out here and they're picking up the phone. They're saying, hey, you got a load for me today? I've got a great driver. And they're selling your capacity to that shipper. So you got to represent. And that's the role of the broker: sales, marketing, and producing revenue for you. And y'all split the commission. So and same with the dispatcher. The issue with the dispatcher, though, is the dispatcher doesn't go directly to the shipper. The dispatcher goes to another broker. Therefore, they're a middleman between two middlemen. Okay. So if the shipment is originally at 1,000 and then the broker gets it, he breaks off a piece. Now we down to 800. Then the dispatcher gets it and they break off a piece. Now we down to 600. So that's $400 that went to two separate people. And now that's all that's left is what the driver gets. And he doing most of the work. You feel me? He got most of the responsibilities. So that's the role of a broker. Now, if you are sourcing a broker and you're putting out your carrier package, circling back on the carrier package, you want to vet your broker just as much as your broker's vetting you. It should be a win-win situation between the two of you. You should not be going up to that broker and expecting, you're going to get just enough. You should be asking that broker, what can you do for me? You are taking my asset and you're employing it. So what can you do for me? Why should I allow you to represent me? Are you going to represent me the same way? You got to look at that. Wow. Drivers, owner operators and drivers, you're business people. You are a value and you bring value to the table in your time, your training, your ability to be out here on this road and deal with road conditions and road traffic and all the things that go along with that. You've got time management skills. You've got customer service skills. You have business skills. You went in, got your truck, got a business license, got the insurance. Okay. So you're a business person. You are the CEO. You are the chief executive officer. So why not tell that broker, you work for me just as much as I work for you? We are a team. Okay. So tag team. And if that broker's not giving you what you want, by all means, go find another one. And again, vet them. I feel like you should be empowered. Empower yourself to take control of your business. You got to. Okay. Right. So most brokers go in with non-assets. That's how I went. That's how I started. No assets. But again, with the changing of the trends that are happening in the transportation and logistics industry, I'm seeing the benefit in having one or two assets on my books so that I can provide a better service. I can be more competitive in this environment. Okay. So, and I think that's going to lead us to the next question I know you were talking about, but I'm going to let you introduce it in regards to business.
Well, I'm sorry.
Good segue. You say what?
I have, I'm just, I'm going through my index cards and I had another question. We trying to, I just much to say. I'm just like, oh, I forgot this one. But what all entails with a dispatcher? That's what one of the questions were. I kind of told them, I said, well, hey, what a dispatcher? They say, okay, I don't want to drive a truck. I want to sit at home, but I want to be a dispatcher. And I said, and you kind of brushed over this a little bit as being a dispatcher, and you can't be a dispatcher for C.H. Robinson. You can't be a dispatcher for XPO Logistics. You're going to be a dispatcher for one of the two. That being said, you have to have the software. You have to have the computers. You have to have the knowledge. You have to have all this stuff to be able to be a dispatcher. It ain't just get on the phone and being customer service like, hey, you got a nice, good voice. You got the charisma. You got if you're a female, you got the suave, the guys, you got the charm. So can you kind of break that down to them of the role of a dispatcher?
So a dispatcher is an intermediary between intermediaries. So a lot of truck drivers.
Now, I want to say, I don't want to cut you off. I want to say, say this somebody want to be a dispatcher for you.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, and we know right now we're just still building from the ground up. But if somebody was Yeah, I would love to be a dispatcher for FBM, and I work on your tutorage and free intern, and hey, I just want to work for you.
What am I going to have to do? Well, first off, again, um, it still entails sales. A dispatcher has a sales role to it. It has an administrative role to it. It has a customer service role to it. It has critical thinking, analytical skills, all those things, computer skills, all those pieces are part of being a dispatcher. So first and foremost, a dispatcher is about telling, communicating between the trucker, carrier, and the shipper, and saying, hey, ABC Trucking, I have a load for you to pick up at XYZ shipper. And and giving them all the details, communicating that out to them. Okay. And then following through with that, making sure they picked up on the right time, making sure that they have the clear understanding of where they're supposed to go with that freight. If there are any problems come up with that freight, they're communicating back and forth between all what I like to call stakeholders or parties involved in the shipment from that A to Z. Okay. So,
Right.
and at the same time, while that truck driver is moving to the destination, they're on the phone calling and selling and filling that pipeline for shipments. That pipeline needs to constantly be going. So if somebody thinks, oh, I'm a dispatcher, all I do is call that truck driver, have him go pick up, and then I sit back and wait for the delivery. Well, then what are you going to do when he gets to the destination or she gets to the destination and they don't have a load? You want to be
Right.
proactive. So if you know that that trucker is going from Georgia to New York, and it's going to take them 4 days, over the next 4 days, not only are you tracking that shipment and communicating updates to the shipper on that shipment, which hopefully your system is automated, and a lot of your technology should be updating that shipper already, so you don't have to do it. And that allows you to take care of the sales parts of that, which is calling. My driver's going to New York. I need to circle around everybody in New York and get on the phone and find that driver load coming back. I got 3 days to do it. So that means you got to be resourceful as a dispatcher, understanding how to build your sales funnel, understanding how to make those sales calls. All those things are systems and processes that must be created. Now, as a freight broker, if I have a dispatcher working under me, I'm going to coach you in that. And if you're working under broker, that broker should be coaching you in that. And what that looks like is I'm telling you, okay, hey, this is the process we go through. That driver is going up here to New York. Boom. Here's a list of all the shippers in that zone. Call them. Get on the phone with them. Find out if they got anything coming out between this day and this date. And don't stop until you find one. If they have problems closing the deal, I get on the phone with them and help them close the deal. That's the role as a freight broker, helping my dispatcher, is helping them be successful by helping the driver be successful. But it's an operational process. Okay. You can't just set it and forget it. This is a dynamic business, meaning something is always moving and changing and shifting and all that stuff. So you have to be constantly moving and changing and shifting with it, and be ready for the problems that come along, and have a plan to deal with them. So that means if you are listening to this and you have your own freight brokerage business and you're trying to understand how can I build a better pipeline of shippers, you start with your backyard. So if you live in Georgia, you start in Georgia. If that's where your driver is, start there. When you get that first load and that driver takes off, wherever that destination is, get on the phone with them, okay? And call them. And then wherever that is going, if that's going, say, from Georgia to New York, and then that shipment from New York is going out to California, you got 4 or 5 days to get on the phone to find a shipment in California. And you make that triangle. And if that shipment is stopping over in Los Angeles or excuse me, in Nevada, okay, you need to be on the phone to Nevada finding a freight. And so it's a pull situation, okay? that you have to be methodical about and have a game plan and a strategy for. Now, yes, as a consultant, as a business management development, person, I can help you do that. But at the same time, I'm not going to do it here. You can call me, we can talk about it. But this is what is required for any business to be successful. You have to create these pipelines, these sales funnels. And what's happening, and from what I see, when I evaluate the industry, what I see happening is you've got the big papas, you've got your Schneiders and your
Yeah,
H.
everybody.
Robertsons and all your big dogs, your XPOs and so forth. They have a team of people. They got a sales team. They got a customer service rep team. They've got a dispatcher team. They've got a freight broker team. They've got teams that they have built out for that purpose. They have said, okay, you take this now and you take this now and you take this now and we'll meet in the middle. But if you are an owner operator, you're trying to do it all. So it's not practical for you to do it all, because that means while you're driving, you're going to have to be dialing for dollars, that we used to call it when we were in sales. That's not practical for you to do, because you're going to that's distracted driving. So you're not going to be able to do that. And if you're trying to do it when you shut down at the end of the night, everybody's closed, especially if you're driving from a 9 to 5. People shut down. Nobody's going to be in the office taking phone calls, trying to figure out, I got, and if they do, it's a limited amount of people. And most of the time, the decision maker is not on that call at night. The decision maker is at home. So you got to find a decision maker to make the decision on whether or not you can pick up that freight. So these are just things that, as a business owner, I think the owner operator only is seeing up to the point that they pick up the freight. They're only seeing up to the point where they buy the truck and they buy the tractor and the trailer. And then they go to the load boards, and that's their business plan. I got a truck, trailer, and I got a load board. I'm going to grow my business with loads, but it's spotty. That's why I call it the spot market. It's spot rates. It's a spot. It's not consistent. I had a man call me in Texas. He wants to create a drayage operation, and he's wanting to build that out. He's got 3 trucks, but again, my fees to do that are extensive. That is a full-time responsibility that requires me to understand the market that you're in, understand the assets that you have, understanding the revenue that you want to make. It's not just writing down bullet notes on a piece of paper and saying, okay, you want to build your drayage company. Okay, step 1, this, step 2. No, you have to have the information to make a better plan so that you can sustain and grow your business. And then you have to measure that. And like you were saying earlier, a lot of people want to get in and they want that fryer or that microwave service. They want it instant. Okay, Amazon has got us on this. It'll happen today. You order today, you can get it in 2 hours, or you can get it by next day or within 2 to 3 days. Okay. But you got to remember, for Amazon to give you that service, that means they have to build a stockpile of inventory. And how do they do that? Data. Amazon has one of the most advanced and extensive data infrastructures right now, I think, compared to anybody, because he understands that with data, you can make better decisions to save money. So he's already figured out, if I'm in Decatur, Georgia, I got a warehouse in Decatur, Georgia. He already knows the demographics. He already knows what the top items people like to order. He understands, what their price points are, all that stuff. And he's got it in a warehouse that's within so many miles, because he knows how often they're going to ask for it and when they're going to ask for it. And he's ready for them. He's ready.
Yeah.
And he's monitoring the trends. And when that trend shifts, he's already ahead of it, because he's doing projective analysis. He's doing predictive analysis. He's doing all that stuff with his database systems. So he's already reading the tea leaves. And owner operators don't have that luxury. They don't have those tools. Most of them they don't even have a computer. They're using their phones. Now, I mean, and that's fine, but you got to use Google Docs. If you don't know
Yeah,
how, get on the YouTube and learn, okay?
yeah.
Or find somebody who knows it and quote unquote be willing to pay them. Stop trying to get free all the time when you need to make money, because it's going to take some money to make that big dollars. So the information I'm giving you now, it's valuable. However, you got to apply it.
Right.
You have
Thanks.
to apply the knowledge. If you don't apply the knowledge, that's when it falls through. So application is the next step. So I've told you to farm your area. I've told you need to go and source shippers. So Google, how do I source shippers? Matter of fact, I made a video about it. I made a video on how to build a small, on my channel. I made a video on how to source shippers, how to build a lane. I dropped that knowledge already. But if
How long ago?
about a year ago. Matter of
What?
fact, I'm gonna put the link in the bottom
Put
of
the
this
link.
section of the video so
You
that
might have to repost that.
I will. But I've already told people how to go out here. But you know what I got back? I got people telling me, give it to me. Basically do it for
What?
me.
See,
I
this
can't.
is where this is another debate. You know, I was in the debate team in high school, but
Uh-huh.
this is another debate.
Mhm.
Is that where is when you get people just want you to give them everything? Well, no.
No,
I
exactly.
mean, and I ain't saying something wrong with that, but it's you know, my thing is, you know, I don't want you to put your cash app on here and nothing like that, but I'm just saying people are just like they're so needy and you give this information. I know we're
Oh,
just
I can
trying.
put my cash app up. I ain't got no problem with
But
that. I can put the
I'm just
cash
saying,
app up.
you know, we try to do so much, and maybe you need to probably put the cash app at the bottom. But anyway, that's just something else. So I'm just throwing that alley you. But that being said, is just that it's just so much information and so much like I say, you're doing you're getting further educated, and I
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what you're doing and what you're trying to do it in the amount of time you're doing it in. But
Yes.
people got to be aware of the sacrifices, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
And be and
if you give them that information a year ago,
a
come
year ago, I put that because
on,
what
I'm
what
done.
what I make about this channel is education.
All right.
Okay. And everybody knows if you want the answers to some good, valuable, juicy things, most of the time it's in a book. So
You,
what my
you,
objective is to educate you through my videos. I'm not going to do it for you, but I will provide you in a condensed format on how to get through all that other stuff. Now, if you want the application part of it, that's where you're going to have to do the work. You have to, that person has to apply that knowledge. That person has to. So I'm going to break it down to you even further. What does that look like when I say apply the knowledge? One, sitting down with a notebook, piece of paper right here. And no, we don't have a phone book, but we got Google. We got Google Maps.
right.
And using Google Maps to find businesses. It can be done. I showed you in the video. Again, I'm writing those down. Everybody got a website now. Most of the time they got an email on it. Now, what that means is that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to get through that door on that first call or that first email, but you're going to have to come up with a sales and marketing plan to attract those people, basically building mousetraps so that those people will come to you and want to do business with you. And it may take you 20, 30, 40, 50 calls before that happens. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. My patience for that is I don't have a lot of patience for the over call over again. Okay, I like to build around relationships. I like to do more of a pull you to me than me constantly knocking on your door waiting for you to let me in. So build a mousetrap, build a YouTube channel, build a social media marketing strategy channel. Social media is here, but you have to understand who is your target audience? Who are you trying to attract? So if you're trying to attract a logistics manager, is that logistics manager on YouTube or are they on LinkedIn? Chances are they'll probably have a profile on LinkedIn before they will have a profile on YouTube telling you, hey, I'm a logistics manager. Okay. They may have
Mm-hmm.
a channel, but they may not have it to where it labels them as whatever. So, with that being said, you got to go to LinkedIn and see if you can find somebody in that company. Chances are that company's got a profile on LinkedIn at minimum. That company's got a profile on LinkedIn. Find out who's in charge and work your way through. Try to do connections with them, identify with them. Or if you got a blog post or something you want to share with them, share it with them. Say, thought of you on this. Pay attention to the industry that they're in. Pay attention to the trends that are happening with that industry. Be engaged with your customers beyond just looking for a quick load. Get involved with your customers. But this is what big business does. This is why they succeed, because they got the teams to do it. So you as a small owner operator or as a small broker or as a small freight forwarder or whoever you are, if you got a less than 10 people in your office, chances are you don't have the resources to do that stuff. So you have to be creative about doing it.
I agree. And I want to add one thing.
Uh-huh.
Stop a try baby. Stop being a try. When I see try, don't be, I tried this, I tried that. Stop being a try baby and go out here and get it done.
I like
Get
that. Try baby. Okay.
try. Let's go out there and get it done.
That's it.
You know,
That's it.
and like I said, opportunities for everybody.
It is. So everybody, and it's romanticizing to say I'm a business owner, I have my own, I'm making my own. But there is work in that. There is work in that, and there are resources that are needed in that. And if you don't have the time and energy and the level of knowledge that you need, find somebody who does. And if you're going to use them, be willing to pay for their services. Don't just think that, oh, I can just go over here and you're gonna basically build me a business plan for free. Okay. No, that is not fair to the person that is doing the work and not getting paid. They have bills and responsibilities too. So I think that as owner operators, that was the time for you to understand, for those of you who are listening and you're trying to come out here and be in this industry, yes, there's a lot of money to be made. However, the more money you want to make, chances are the more people you need around you to help you make it.
Yes.
That's okay. That's the bottom line. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Business expansion is doable, yet it's not practical if you can't fill the capacity. What I mean by that is C.H. Robinson says, okay, I want to expand. I want to expand into, let's just say that they want to go up to some Wyoming, up there. I want to expand. I hear that there's something coming out of Canada. I want to expand over there. So they go and they just build an office over there, but the volume isn't there to support the office. So yes, nobody was over there, not because it was undiscovered territory. It was because it wasn't enough volume to support that office or that operation. So you've expanded into something.
You said something there. God almighty. Woo. Because my parents, I'm from Florida, but my parents are from down South Georgia. Mm-hmm. We talk about Amos, Georgia, Albany, Cockwood, Georgia, Donaldsonville. You talking about, I got my cousin them down there like, man, I got a box truck and I ain't getting no business. I got to drive 4 hours to Atlanta to get in the game. Yep. So you said, man, whew, they hit home.
Exactly. The illusion. This is where data is king, is gold. I'm telling people. And they think it's frivolous because they don't know or understand, first off, where to find the data. And when they find it, what to do with it. Okay. So I want to start a business in Florida. the first thing people think about, I'm right here by the port. I see all this freight coming in at the port. Man, there's got to be some good business down here. There's got to be all these people down here in Florida, right down here by the ocean. I'm going to get me a box truck and I'm going to get in it. But did you do any research to identify if you could get into that market? Are you doing fruits? Are you doing canned goods? What is the commodity that you're going to carry? Furniture? Because that market is so big, you're going to have to find your niche. You're going to have to identify what audience can I serve with this box truck? What do I want to do with this box truck? Okay. Now, box trucks are great for residential deliveries. They're great for your short runs. Okay. And if you're savvy enough, you build a route with your box truck, but that takes work. That's where people lose interest, when it takes work for them to say, okay, I have to build this route. I do. So that means you got to sit down for a minute and you got to say, okay, all right, I'm watching so-and-so. I'm seeing their trucks always going over here to this neighborhood. You know what? I'm going to peek on them someday. I'm just going to follow them. I'll tell you where I got this idea from. I didn't make this up. When I went and I got my associates in business, my professor, my entrepreneur professor, he wanted to build a coffee shop. He wanted to have his own coffee shop, and he knew he was coming up against Starbucks. So he went and sat at Starbucks every day and just observed. What were they doing? What were they serving? What were people asking for? How the menu changed? What the audience was? What the conversation? He just wrote notes. Did this, did this, did this. What he was doing was he was observing, why are people coming to Starbucks? And then he said, can I duplicate this in my own way and offer my own coffee shop? So that was the first thing. But then he had to source the coffee. Okay. He looked at bowl. Okay, where does coffee come from? 9 times out of 10 is coming out of Colombia because they got the highest altitude. Now you can get it someplace else, but 9 times out of 10 is coming out of Colombia. You buy the beans and you roast the beans. That's it. So now he needs to find a roaster. Okay, that's his best bet. Instead of trying to import the beans from Colombia, find a roaster, because the roasters, what they do is they say, okay, we get our beans from here, here, and here. You can do a blend, you can do bold, you can do this. And all they do is tailor that beans. Now, Starbucks has most of their own roasters, but you have roasters now that are what they call white labeling their beans. So people say, yeah, matter of fact, I'm going to go to this roaster right here. I'm looking at it. They give you samples, you taste it, Okay, I want to start with this selection. All right. Then you go buy your syrups, and then you go buy your milks and all that kind of stuff. And then you buy your machine. Okay, boom, you start serving. But before he did all that, he did his market research first. He understood who his competition was and how could he offer a better product to his competition before he was able to make something happen. So that's what I think is happening, in the fact that people aren't doing enough research and enough footwork up front to establish, how do I break into this market and offer a competitive advantage? That's the main piece of all of this. So your cousin down there in Florida, he's going to have to pause for a minute. It's not cost advantageous for him to drive all the way up here to Georgia to find a load and take it back down to Florida. You're burning gas. There's no way he could be profitable.
Well, no, he South Georgia. Sticks.
Yeah. So
I mean, so he's basically commuting from Bainbridge, Georgia, Colquitt, Georgia, Miller County, Decatur County. So that, a lot of their business, they try to go to Albany, then they try to go a little bit over the state line and go to Tallahassee, Quincy, Florida. So it's just like, man, we looking at, because the load board is almost like the stock market. You look on there right now, and this load is being uploaded, and you just like, people like, whoa, I could just, the money there. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to factor in your fuel, your time, your cost. I mean, and then you can only, that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's misleading. It's there, but
Exactly. Is it cost? Are you
Right.
making money? Now, I know you're familiar with Truck and Hustle.
Hmm.
The okay. And I like the show. I've watched a few of theirs, but I'm gonna tell you why I don't like the show. Because it brings, you're always showcasing the person that makes the most money and has the
Man,
$1 million, the billion
uh,
dollars, the all this stuff. And
the
so
truck,
people,
stupid, everything.
all that, okay?
Yeah,
Come on, everybody is not going to get the business like that. And if they do, talk about the plan that you did, but you're not going to talk about that. Why? Because that's the golden piece. That's the
that's
golden nugget. If I laid out the plan for you, all you had to do is snatch it and you're going to go run and do it. That's what makes the work hard. But sometimes, even when you give people the plan, you could throw it right in front of them. They don't do it because they don't want to go through the work. It's work. At the end of the
hey,
day, it's
oh,
work.
what's funny that you said that. You can give them the plan and it'll work. And before they actually make it work for them, they'll get a plan away.
That,
That's great.
exactly. They will.
Eh,
Because they'll
and
say,
then,
oh, this didn't, I ain't got no $1 billion from this. I ain't doing this. But again, you look at all the people who have made millions and billions and trillions. Okay. Warren Buffett inched his way through it. That man is in his, almost 90 something. I think close to it. But he
yeah,
didn't get there overnight. Even he started off and almost lost. The stories are abundant of how many of these entrepreneurs who are now, we see the success of them,
yeah.
started off at ground zero.
But see, this is the thing, Jewel. They stayed in their lane and
Yes,
it made it work.
that's right.
You know, a lot of people don't stay in their lane. They okay, they selling cups this week. They selling pies next week. Don't stay in your lane. You know what I'm saying?
I
If
get
there's
diversification. You can diversify, but
yeah,
be methodical about it.
yeah, but it's just like people just like, okay, that didn't work. I'm jumping out of that. But you got now you don't educate yourself. You know the ins and outs of it. Why jump to something else? If you know the
Yes,
ins of it, make it work. Stop being a try baby. Don't
that's
try
it.
no more.
That's
Just
it.
make it.
That's
Yeah,
it. That's it. So, but yeah, these are pieces of the puzzle of being in the transportation business. And it's not, it's not easy. It really isn't. It requires a knowledge first and foremost, and application of knowledge, and be willing, be ready to pivot. Okay, because it's always shifting. If you're not paying attention to the trends, and that's one of the things I try to introduce on this channel, is certain trends that I see coming up. That drayage trend, I started talking about drayage a year ago. Everybody wasn't talking about it, but I was talking about it because I saw the shift that was happening, and it's going to get bigger. I'm telling you, mark my words. Long haul is not going to be the long haul that it is today in about 2 or 3
right.
more years. Okay.
Oh yeah,
It's going to shift, and you're going to see, they're going to hit the borders of their state, and that's it. So if you're in Georgia, you're going to hit Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama. That's it. You're going to hit those walls, because that's the way they're going to keep fuel costs down. And when we keep fuel costs down, we keep prices down. The goal with all of this is to reduce the price of goods and services, because as long as those prices go up, the cost, the profit margin does not come out of the pocket of the shipper. It's not coming out of the pockets of the bank. You know who's going to come out of the pockets of? The truck driver, because he's the lowest man on the totem pole. He does all the work.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Because they know the truck driver has the least amount of education. They have the least amount of know-how. All they're doing, they're running around here following smoke screens, doing try-baby stuff, and they're not paying attention. So they're going to keep reducing the amount of money that they give them, and they'll keep moving that truck just because they want to believe in the dream. And so in order for them to be wiser, they got to get more education, or they need to pay attention, be savvy, understand Be strategic. Offer yourself a competitive advantage by teaming up with a shipper and being true to that shipper, maintaining your truck, staying close to home, having a maintenance plan. All those things, okay, are important for you to be able to survive in this, because once you lose that customer, it's going to be a long time for you to get another one. It really is. It's harder to get a new one than it is to keep the old one, because it took you that long to build that relationship. So I can't stress it enough. You got to get out here and team up. Start kissing babies and bringing flowers to somebody. You better do something.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So, I mean, we covered a lot tonight. Hey, if you stuck around the whole time, you should have a full business plan right now.
Man,
okay.
They should. You should
be able to chop this video up, sit down with note, pen, and paper, and make it work. Fill in the blanks.
I wrote something down. It's like a little slogan for me and you.
Okay.
It say the game will never be the same unless you join the game.
Okay.
Slow it down. I give them a chopped and screwed version. The game will never be the same until they join the game. And that's the game. FBM, J My Vision. Jewel Williams, Jason Thompson.
All right.
The game thing until you join the game.
That's right. So with that, like, subscribe, and share this video. And hey, stay tuned. If you want to grow your business, we can help you. But we don't give you everything, but we're gonna give you something.
And like I say, I'm in the suburbs of Atlanta, and I'm in Atlanta, so I will definitely be getting all the information from all my colleagues and my these drivers out here doing their thing, and I will be getting it back to Jewel, and we'll be just giving you the information. A lot of guys, a lot of people that don't share the information that's got these successful YouTube channels, and they're these high dollar brokers, and they just know everything. They make millions of dollars. Well, I'm gonna get the stuff from the average Mo that's out here trying to get it. That's at ground level. That's on our level. That's, like I said, Jewel knows. Jewel's out here giving guys and giving, I ain't gonna say guys, but I say females and males opportunity to earn their CDL's license. She's riding around with showing guys how to park trucks, 53-foot trailers. She's out here she really out here in the trenches. You know, it ain't just like she getting on here showing a pretty face and yada yada, giving y'all these analytic point of views. She's out here in the trenches in school training people.
That's it.
And a lot of people need to get in the comments and vouch for her. But that's on some other stuff. We'll wait.
We'll wait. We ain't got to worry about that. We ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah. But the co-signing to come with it.
Yeah.
But it said that you're really doing some big things, and you get your flowers, you get your just due. But that being said, is that we're gonna keep bringing you this content, if you like it or not. And I love the comments, you know what I'm saying, and Jewel love them too. So we just gonna keep doing what we do, and like it or not, here we come.
That's it. That's it. That's it. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you in a week, and post your questions down below. We love to hear what you got in comments. We love to answer them for you and see if we can help you out where we can. All right. We'll see you next week. Peace.